This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, January 26th. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
Welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about home technology, home innovation, and Apple, what are they called? The Apple Vision Pros?
Vision Pro.
Did you guys get one?
No.
TJ?
I didn't like the colors.
I'm going to wait for Gen 2. Every first generation Apple product gets outdated so quickly. I wanted one so bad, but I was like, this thing's going to be outdated in a year.
Yeah.
It's not gonna matter, so I'm not going to spend the money.
I don't know. This one I think has got a little more time on it than a year. Probably
maybe 2.
2 years, yeah. But I from all the people that were looking at the supply chains, like they don't have anything lined up until like 2025, 2026. So, you got a couple of years out of it. It's like getting the first gen iPad.
Yeah. I kind of want to see what people do with this. Like, it's not necessarily about the product, but it's how, the extra third-party apps and what people do with it that make it worthwhile. Like if you don't have apps and you don't have a use case for it, then it's a waste of $4,000.
Yeah. It looks really interesting, but like you said, for watching a TV, well, I don't know. People pay $3,000-$4,000 for TVs all the time. So
yeah, this thing, it sounds really cool, honestly. Like whenever they first announced it, I was like, I could see myself buying one of these eventually. But I don't know, 2-hour battery life on it, and I got to have that external battery pack and everything. I'm not a fan of the first edition.
I think you can plug it into your computer or something like that and it stays charged, doesn't it? Right?
That's definitely what I want.
Well, yeah. I would use it as an external monitor thing and work that way, I guess. Like see my spreadsheets.
Why didn't you get your work to buy one?
Up in the sky? I don't know. That'd be fun, I guess.
They would have bought one. Tell them that you need it for the lighting design program.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. Good idea. Well, I didn't buy one either. So I guess we're 0-3 Apple, sorry.
Give me your boss's number. I'll call him. So.
Would it be cool if you could use it, TJ, to see your lights before you install them in your kitchen?
Yeah, honestly, there's all kinds of use cases for that, right? Because they do that with your phone, where you can use your phone to look at furniture and stuff around the house. But that's where I think the AR and the VR, having both options kind of helps out, because you could lay out a whole room with this, and they're already doing that with like construction buildings. Like I forget that one company. But they have a warehouse set up with like projectors and stuff like that. And they basically lay out the whole house so you can see exactly what the floor plan is going to be and what it's going to feel like. That sounds great.
They even bring furniture in and set the couch where the couch is going to be, and like
make sure it's like good sizing. And
yeah.
That's too much work. I just create a floor plan in the Alexa app and let Amazon tell me what I need to put in that room.
Yeah, but now you don't have to. You can buy this $4,000 headset maybe eventually and do it.
Starting at what, $3,500, or in Canadian, it's probably $5,000 up there.
Yeah, new roof or a VR headset. I don't know.
Man, pretty good roof if you're getting it for $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay, half a roof. Half a roof.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 'cause my roof alone was like $10,000. So
you could put these on and just pretend you have a good roof. Water leaks all around you. Yeah, I don't see like this being. It could be really cool. I don't have really any experience with AR, VR. I'm more interested in the AR. One thing I'm really worried about is the, I don't do very good. My brain or my eyes don't like stereo stuff. So like when I would watch like the 3D movies, I'd always kind of get sick or feel yuck after them. And so that's one of those things like, I don't know, like spending an hour in this, like if I feel sick after it, like I'm bringing it back. I'm not paying $3,500.
Like first person shooters, you get sick with those too when you play those games?
I don't really play those.
Well, if I even watch somebody playing it, I would get sick. I couldn't watch it for a long time.
I don't think I'd had that problem. It's I don't know. It's just the 3D movies really, almost like I was drunk, but without the being drunk part.
Like cheap date.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a fun date.
Yeah. Just couldn't like focus on anything after watching, a regular hour and a half movie or whatever. So I don't know. That's one thing I kind of like. I'm thinking about with these, but it does look like a really cool product. I'm very much more interested in the AR version of it, of whatever comes out of it, than the completely immersive blah 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 that you can get out. That I don't know. That seems like a gimmick, but the AR seems kind of cool to me. Anyway, I didn't buy one of those, but I did get this holding up a box.
Ooh, that's a box.
Oh, nice. I like your box.
Rectangular shape.
Ooh.
So I told you guys I had a big announcement.
Oh.
Big thing. Yeah. Are you ready? You ready?
Okay, let's go. Oh, we're not on live video, so
straight. Yeah, nobody else could see. So straight from the town of Waterloo, Ontario.
Hey, that's where I went to school.
I went to ordered some more O. Henry bars.
Is that where they're from, or
I don't know? Came UPS. So yeah, it came from someplace up there that fulfilled the Amazon order I put in a month ago.
It took that long to get some O. Henry bars.
Pretty much, and I tried them. They're actually pretty good. Yeah,
they're not bad.
They're not like Reese's peanut butter cup. They've got like hard peanuts. It's kind of like a Snickers bar, I guess. No,
kinda.
Yeah, like a Snickers bar. Your Reese's comment confused me. So,
well, no, it's like peanut butter. It's peanut and chocolate, like right. So like peanut,
and caramel. Wasn't it caramel?
Yeah, I think it's more like a Snickers.
It's closer to a Snickers.
Yeah. Well, what a coincidence, Seth, because I had a friend of the show, James Todd, stop by and drop me off some candy bars. So
it's O. Henry week.
We all get O. Henrys.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm the only person that hasn't had O. Henry recently. Like, this is really well,
that's weird because you gave them to James, I think, right?
No, he was up in Canada visiting and he picked them up from the local store and dropped some off. But yeah, they have crunchy peanuts, creamy caramel, chewy fudge, all covered in a chocolatey coating.
And it says that in French right here on the label that I have.
Oh, you got the bootleg ones.
Oh yeah, 120 grams. I got 8 bars though.
I was,
but you got those are the mini ones, right?
Mini ones, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, you got the mini ones.
You got to be a fatty and get the big ones. That way you just eat them all.
I can eat all the mini ones at the same time too.
If you freeze them, they're really good too. But I mean, what candy isn't good frozen? So.
Well, enjoy, Seth. Enjoy the O. Henrys.
Oh, absolutely. I had got them a couple of days ago, so I've had a whole pack. I was like looking around, like maybe I ate the whole pack. Yeah, I ate the whole pack. So
move them away from the desk.
I've had at least 8. Yeah, if you hear this on the show tonight, it's definitely me getting into some O. Henry bars. So delicious though. I like them. Like it's on par with the Snickers. The chocolate's a little bit different, but yeah.
I don't know why they got rid of them in America.
I don't know.
I feel like probably just bad advertising.
Did they ever have them down there?
Yeah, we had them until like it was super late. It was like 2015 or something. We looked it up.
Oh,
because when I brought it to Nicole, she was telling me that she's like, no, I've definitely had them before, and I was like, I've never seen these.
I've never seen them.
And come to find out, they stopped selling them in the late to like 2010s, so it wasn't that long ago. But I imagine it's just the name here. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really have any meaning to us.
Well, my favorite is the O. Henry Easter eggs. It's a little weird. They're a little chunkier, you know. They taste a little different, but they're only around Easter time. So as soon as they start hitting shelves, I stock up on those. You know, maybe I'll send some down for you guys because you could taste the differences.
I don't know. I didn't look. Are they milk chocolate or are they something else?
Milk chocolate.
Yeah, they are milk chocolate. For some reason, Americans don't like milk chocolate as much. I don't know.
What? No, what? Americans only like milk chocolate.
It's a lot of like the Hershey's and stuff like that.
Americans love milk chocolate. It's the dark chocolate Americans do not like, which is the European chocolate. Oh, man, that's all I eat.
Gives me headaches.
Oh, it's delicious.
I had a boss one time that gave me like a 98% cacao bar.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, go ahead and try this. Took a bite, and it was like the worst thing I've ever had in my life. Oh, why would you do this?
It's just upsetting a lot of dark chocolate lovers right now.
I know, right?
That's right. We are not dark chocolate fans.
So you can give it all to me then. I'll take it. All right. Well, we've got some we've got O. Henry bars, but we don't have any Apple Visions. But that's okay. I think we got the better deal. Let's go and take a look. We got some HomeTech headlines this week. So what do you say we jump into that?
Let's do it.
All right. Netflix is phasing out its cheapest ad-free plan, which currently costs about $12 per month in the US. This move comes as Netflix expands into an ad-supported streaming and wants subscribers to either switch to an ad-viewed plan or pay more for the free service or for the non-ad service, I guess. So once this gets implemented, Netflix will have 3 price points: ads for $6.99, standard HD for $15.49, and premium 4K for $22.99 a month. $22.99 a month.
Oh my gosh!
You ready for this? Yeah, it's coming. No.
I mean, that's such a big difference. I mean, ads for $6.99, and then you have to jump up almost $10 more to get non-ads. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Like we're getting back to cable. Like it's reaching a point. Like we used to pay a cable bill to get 40 minutes of an actual TV show every hour. watch 20 minutes of commercials. This is just, it's going to reach a point.
Yeah. Soon they'll make it really hard to cancel your Netflix subscription. Then it was like, okay, it's cable at this point. Like I did see there was some, rumblings somewhere, that, there are people in Congress or people who take their job seriously in Congress that were rumbling about, complaining about how these streaming services who are basically turning into cable companies and they're selling advertisements just like cable companies did. They're not regulated like cable companies are. So that will be interesting if it gets a little more traction. I wonder if the cable companies are like, yeah, you should regulate them like you regulate us. See what happens there. That'd be interesting.
Good, because we need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Give me ads.
I don't want ads.
I'll give you regulations. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, we have Netflix at the moment. We go on and off, but I haven't really found anything on there recently. This is probably enough to make me cancel, and I'd pay like $23 a month for YouTube. So
yeah,
YouTube Premium, not even the YouTube TV service. So I'm not a stranger to paying high prices for things, but Netflix I don't think is worth it at this time.
They don't really have any compelling shows on that I can think of right now.
Oh man, I just enjoyed one too called The Brother Son with Michelle Yeoh. Really exciting. It was actually pretty good.
Oh wait, I think you told. Yeah, I think I heard about that one too. Yes, I'll have to check that one out. Michelle, I was hearing about the show with Michelle Yeoh in it. Yeah, so
yeah,
and from like two people. You're the second person, so I definitely have to check that one out. But I mean, there's not like their big marquee shows running like Stranger Things or anything like that. So still kind of waiting for that stuff to roll back around. Anyway, ads are coming. Welcome. New product from Sonos, TJ. It's not headphones though.
Oh, I don't want it.
Sonos is releasing new in-ceiling speakers that are basically going to be only purchasable through installers. Speakers offer a custom-built enlarged woofer, a 30 millimeter tweeter for enhanced sound quality. I was kind of looking at this. They're 8-inch speakers priced at $1,000 per pair, with a small inch 6-inch model available as well. I was looking at these. It's kind of like, to me, I'm like, I don't know if this is Sonos actually making their own speakers, but in the past they've teamed up with Sonance, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the outdoor speakers and maybe some of the indoor speakers too. And these probably are at least the same, if not rebranded Sonance, or it's not very hard to find a speaker manufacturer who'll make you speakers and let you put a name on it these days. So if Sonos has done that, they probably picked up some decent speakers, maybe partnered with Sonance to make them as well. But I don't know, kind of makes sense. If they have an amplifier, no speakers, this is probably a good time to start selling speakers.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a Sonance partnership. I mean, they already have it with the 6-inch in-ceiling speakers. They still say Sonance on them, but they're from Sonos or whatever they are.
Oh, these are okay. These are the same. Okay.
Yeah, they're literally the same thing, but they're 8-inch. The other ones were 6-inch. And so these are just the bigger version of them. I don't know why they waited like 25 years to bring these out compared to the 6-inch, but here we are. And the only
just to mess with you, I think.
We got this new product announcement. The only difference though between like the Sonos special speakers is that if you hook it up to the Sonos amp, you get the True Play, which is very nice because with the traditional in-ceiling or in-wall speakers, you will not get the True Play option, and so like that's kind of worth it. Never pay retail for these speakers though. They almost always go on sale at like Best Buy and stuff like that. They have some crazy MSRP of like $1,000. Never pay that. You don't have to. You can find them pretty cheap. Yeah,
speakers are one of the last high margin products that exist out there. They always have been. Like even when I was selling speakers in the Circuit City 90s, like that was what everybody, like, you sell some speakers, you make some money.
Well, and especially these ones, you're only going to get them from Sonance dealers like myself or like Best Buy.
How do they determine that you actually have installed these specific Sonos speakers, I wonder?
I would imagine they have some kind of like circuitry or something in it. Like very basic, I'm assuming. Because whenever I've installed these, they look like normal speakers. Like they don't look like they have a giant circuit board or anything. But I imagine they have some kind of, resistor or something in there that kind of makes it happen. I don't know. I'm not an audio person.
If you know, let us know.
Yeah, tell us the secret.
Or you scan a QR code.
It just has to create like a high frequency noise or something, and Sonos is like, "Yep, that's it."
Yeah, I imagine like if they played a certain tone and it produced the exact waveform that they were looking for, They probably, yeah. So they know how to EQ things at Sonos.
It's just speakers. I mean, they're doing it with their current speakers. They just got to make it do it with this one instead. And it's just, external.
So you basically I don't understand this. When you do that, do you get the TruePlay? You can't actually TruePlay any other speakers other than these?
Correct. Yeah, you have to get the Sonos speakers. And I don't even, you can't do it the outside, which makes sense anyway, because outside's outside. But any of the Sonos speakers is what you can TruePlay on, which is only 2. It's a 6-inch and 8-inch now.
Okay. I'm not going to save this for the projects, but I actually set up my TruePlay the other day. Everybody left the house and it was real quiet. And I'm like, ooh, no one's here. So I went turned off things that would make noise. Because last time I did it, the ice machine started running halfway through and it was like, I give up. And I was like, nope, can't handle this. I'll wait. Well, everybody was gone. I was like, all right, let me just do this. So I did it. And I don't know, maybe it sounds a little bit better. I can't tell. I have a big open floor plan. So just kind of walked around the rooms, waving my phone around and looked like a crazy person.
Doing the Sonos stance, as I call it.
Yeah. And then it had the nerves you need to raise and lower your phone more. I'm like, are you crazy? I've been flopping this thing around. You didn't know I was flopping the phone around? Maybe it's not going to work. Maybe that's why it didn't work.
I've done that when I got the IKEA speakers, the IKEA Sonos speakers. That's when I noticed the biggest difference. I remember when I first plugged them in, I played something and it sounded off. And then I tuned it, and then it sounded so much better. So it's worth to do it anyways.
Yeah. I would say the soundbar sounds a little bit more surroundy, I guess. It has a little bit more depth in some of the seats I was sitting in. But the other speakers, I just kind of have them tucked in the corner or under end table. And I can't imagine they could EQ their way out of that. They were already struggling in that position. They're just there to make noise, background noise.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very, very room dependent. So
let's move on here. Amazon is reportedly working on a new version of Alexa called Alexa Plus. You can all see where this is going.
Surprise!
And it will be launching on June 30th. The new service aims to supercharge Alexa with AI capabilities and charge users for its use. Yeah, supercharge your users. Let's see. Basically, rumor has it that Amazon's going to come out and get into the AI business. You're going to have smarter things that it can say back to you. There were some reports that it did not do so well when people are talking to it. So they're going to have to go back and fix a few things. But I don't know. This is interesting. It just means that there's a paid version of Alexa coming. We've kind of watched some of the features that were free get taken away and moved behind $2 or $3 a month or something like that. Now they're going to have just a Alexa Plus, just like Disney Plus and HBO Max or Now Max or whatever. Yeah, you got to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't just I feel like they should just make tiered Amazon Prime subscriptions at this point. I don't think people are going to sign up for a separate subscription for just their Alexa. But if you make Amazon Prime Plus subscription where it's $60 more than what it is now, I think people would be more inclined to do that.
You would pay $60 more for Alexa?
I mean, I wouldn't, Seth, but maybe somebody else would.
TJ's just pissing me off right now. He's giving them ideas and pricing. When he said $60, I kind of cringed. I was like,
$60 a year. I mean, that's only $5 a month.
I was like $6 for the year.
A year. Oh, okay.
Yeah, a year. Yeah. Okay. But I don't know. It just for me, it seems like it would make more sense to roll it into something else, which they already do with Amazon Prime anyway. You
Prime videos,
Prime, you get the video and the shipping and the blah blah blah. So why not just add it to that, or just add a separate tier?
Yeah, and Prime has gone up in price too.
Still good value, I think, but definitely has increased in price.
But I do like that idea. I mean, if they could get rid of Prime, if I could take my subscription and get rid of Prime and photos and all the other stuff I don't use, and music and whatever, but yet add on the Alexa Plus, yeah, I would do that.
What if they let you pick you could knock off $10 for taking off Prime Video, and then you could take off photos and whatever else they have.
I would be fine with that because I don't use any of it anyway.
Exactly.
They won't do that. I
literally just have Amazon Prime for shipping.
Yeah, but they probably wouldn't do that because they'd probably lose a ton of Prime subscriptions at that point, right?
Like, well, and that's what's bumping up their numbers.
Exactly.
Remember we did that, we saw that news article where they had like 1 billion subscribers or something, and it's like, all right, you don't, but
there's a lot to this Alexa Plus Max, thing that, I have to wait and see what they come out with, but it comes down to pricing. Like, are they going to charge per device? Are they going to charge per, like per account, and what extra value does it have? I could see myself paying for it if it gave me enough value, right? That's all it comes down to. And the price has to be good.
If it just has a large language model attached to it, I don't know if that's worth it. I mean, it's going to be a chattier. It's going to give you better suggestions. Oh, by the ways, and that kind of thing.
Well, if they make it less chattier, I'll pay a subscription just to make it less chattier.
Alexa will not talk to you. She was like,
here's $5 a month for it not to talk back to me. Like, seriously,
we'll actually let you disable by the way for $5 more a month. What do you think?
Those are valuable things. That's like, that's it. Add to account. Bye.
It'll be interesting. June 30th, they say this is launching. Early tests, I guess, are showing that it has flaws such as long and inaccurate answers. So that's probably not gonna fly for our $5 a month there.
I work with people like that, so that doesn't bother me too much, right?
Just rambling on.
Yeah,
by the way, did you see the thing on TV last night? Yeah. Oh, God.
But I'm sure, it's early. You're always going to have the issues, but it's cool. Like when I was doing the voice interaction with ChatGPT, it's actually a different experience when you're talking to it versus, like typing to it. Mm-hmm. And if they do that, I could see this being really good if they can, make it that well. Like when I was, just as an example, recommend a movie from the 90s and then it would give me a movie. I say, no, actually something, like I didn't have to say, hey, this or hey, that. I just say, no, recommend something at action. And it would give me a go, but with this actor in it. And then, the conversation was totally different. And if they can replicate that with the Amazon products, it will be really nice to interact with, just random questions. And I don't want something that only has answers up to 2019. It's got to have like current stuff, right? I want, if I can ask it about yesterday's basketball game, what was the score in the game and, who had this, and what was the game like and, had more of a conversation, that would be great.
Well, that's what these things do. I mean, they're kind of have like, there's a couple of different ways that they pull in information and there's like there's like an API for game scores and that kind of thing that they pull from. And then there's like all the little smart responses they put in for, like they've just had somebody just like hard code something in place. They like, when you ask it, I don't know, what do you think about Siri? Maybe they have something that's hard coded in there, that always says the same thing. But this would be just kind of like an add-on to that, and then be able to hopefully smartly pull from those different APIs and give you the right response. But again, it's how they program that. And the problem with like large language models is like, it doesn't really know what it's telling you. It just kind of has to assume, but it tells you like it's correct. Like it's just random words put together, and they probably are pretty good together. But for the most part, it doesn't know what it's saying, and it's just spitting out kind of what the next word probably should be in the correct order. Which is an amazing feat in and of itself.
And it would be nice too, from the smart home perspective, if it could do things like, it knows your home. It's not just it knows, tracks things in your house, and it knows things, and you could tell it to open the blinds. You could call it blinds, curtains, shades, whatever. And it will know what you're talking about in that room. Right. Or, like there's so many,
as long as it like can, it's programmed right and can trust those data sources, because if it starts hallucinating like ChatGPT does, and heck, this one is reported to have done, then you're going to have problems, because it's like, oh, the windows are closed. What are you talking about? The blinds are shut. And then it's like, no, the blinds are not shut, Alexa. Please open them.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be like, no, they're closed. I'm sorry, Gavin. I cannot do that for you.
Yeah. So, even person awareness, if I tell it to turn on TV and turn it to my favorite channel versus, somebody else, or even blocking things like stopping someone from saying, turn on every light in the house.
Right.
Like it'd be like, no, that's not advised, there's so much they can do with it. I think this is the first step, but if they do it right, I could see myself paying for a subscription.
All right. Well, speaking of paying for subscriptions. The integrator world was rocked this past weekend. Oh man, I manage a Control4 forum page thing on Facebook, and it was a bunch of noise, and I had a bunch of people I had to delete their posts for. It's like, stop it. This is okay. So the Snap One really messed up some marketing, I think, in my opinion. I know marketing's hard, communicating change is hard, and communicating new products is especially hard, but they had two basic announcements that they should have not put together, in my opinion. The first one is they have an annual subscription set up for remote management of your house, right? So like if you want to run the Control4 app, you have to pay, I don't know, I think it was like $130, $150 or something right now. I don't remember what exactly it was, called Foresight. Now that program is basically being end of line. Like if you are on it now, you continue paying for that. That's how you continue interacting with your remote system. You pay the same price. They're not making anybody pay more. And they're not making it mandatory or anything. So like you still, if you bought a system today up until like, I think towards the end of April, you're on the old program. But the systems after that, they're going to have to go to this thing called Control4 Connect. And Control4 Connect, they're actually, there's two changes. One, it's a little bit more. It's just $100 more a year. I think it's $250 a year for the remote connection. They also have bundled in a bunch of other stuff into it. So like they've required it at this point. So any updates to the software, if you want to use the app basically at all, whether you're inside the house or outside of the house, that $250 is basically required. And there's a bunch of other things like the Alexa and voice integrations, all that stuff is built into that anyway. It was built into Foresight before, but all that kind of gets bundled up. So if you like paid for it for the first year or whatever, and then decided that you didn't want to pay for it anymore, some or many things in your system could potentially stop working. Now your system still works locally. Your touch screens still work, your lights and all that kind of stuff still work locally, but you're not going to get any more software updates. It's not eligible for software updates. There's just a couple of changes there, and I could see them. I understand this. That was easy. That was the easy change. People kind of got hung up on that one because of the other two things they announced. And the other two things are bundled, I guess, into what they're calling Control4 Assist. Control4 Assist is a completely different product, and they should have waited a week to announce it because they got really confused with this mandatory thing they were doing. Control4 Assist is a non-mandatory, like it's an optional thing that dealers can sell. And it's basically kind of what Jason Griffin went on to work on over at OneVision. Just kind of a generic version of that, I guess, or a basic version of that. Remote assist, like remote service and that kind of thing. Somebody's answering the phone within 30 seconds. You give, when you sell this Control4 Assist as a dealer, I guess there's an annual fee of $8.99, and customers will get proactive monitoring and access to a support team at Control4. So somebody has a problem, they can pick up a phone, call Control4. Control4 can work through and do like the basic triage. And if they have to get the dealer involved, they can schedule a service call or have the dealer call them in, fix it, whatever. There's two versions of that. One is $8.99 and one is $3,000 a year for 24/7. I guess the $8.99, that one is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 365 days a year. And then the $3,000 one is 24/7. So depending on the system size or needs of the client or whatever, you could use one of these things. And I don't really see any problem with this. Like, this is like one of those things where it's like, it's an optional thing. Control4 offers it. Some clients have always, wanted to know, like, who can I call in the middle of the night? And it was always like, well, not me. Like, I don't want to be called.
I don't care about your TV.
Yeah. But you can call the office number and somebody will get back to you on it. But yeah, I always hated, getting those phone calls at 8, 9 o'clock or text messages and saying, hey, the TV's not working. It's like, well,
go watch one of the 12 other ones.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. Like, so let's go around here. Gavin, I talked to you a little bit before the show. You're like, I don't really know or understand what along this is like, but like, what do you think about this? It's like, if you were approaching this and a prospective potential Control4 customer, what would you think about both of these announcements? First, the mandatory, the remote access and app usage for being $250 a year, sorry. And then the Control4 Assist, which is their in-house, I guess, servicing thing.
So the one thing I heard, was the communication. it wasn't there, or it was confusing, or it was wrong. And I think that's very important. When you're making significant changes like this, communication is important. And I think they should have communicated properly with the people that have to deal with the clients and far in advance, because they got to make adjustments. They got to prepare, clients, before you go up to the clients, you got to make sure you have the stories right. You have to know all the costs. You have to know all the changes and everything. And that's one thing I was hearing from you constantly, that they really screwed up communication. They really screwed this up. And, if I were a client, my dealer came to me, he says, by the way, next week you have a bill for this much, a recurring bill. Yeah. I would be upset, right? I'd be like, you gave me 1 week's notice. And you know what? I'm also stuck in the system too. Like, it's not like I could just say, I'm going over to Savant or something like that, right? Like, I'm stuck with this system. So it's like, I don't really have a choice too. But to be fair, people that own these systems probably, it's small cost.
They gave dealers basically 60 days to adjust how they were selling. And the thing is like, if you're selling something today, it's not going to matter. You just go and make the account. And once the account's created, it's on the old system. But after that April date, if you go and activate an account, it's going to go through a different way and you don't have access to the old Foresight thing. So I think fair enough. Like 60 days, I think is probably long enough to make any adjustments and communicate that out properly. Like if you had a project open now, like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like you've already sold the Control4 gear maybe a few weeks back, or a year ago when you were building a house or whatever. Like if you're a dealer, now's the time to actually activate that account so you can get on the old system. But yeah, don't wait, do it now. But I don't think that's and Control4, they're a nice enough company. Like after the 30th, if something like that, an edge case comes up like that, they probably will let somebody slide in under the door.
They better. Yeah. They better.
Yeah. I don't think they're not doing this as like a strong arm thing. That's not the impression that I got at all. But like the idea of making this little bit mandatory, like pretty much everybody was doing Foresight that I know about. A lot of people were complaining about like single room solutions, because Control4, you can still go down and use like their smallest processor inside of like a single room for just TV and a remote, and that's all you need it for. And they were like, well, why do I need to pay $250 a year for that? Like, I don't want to do that. Well, like their smallest controller, it's only $100. And then they have an even smaller controller that you may need to add some like IR connectivity to it, and it's free on that one. So you actually still have like two, I think, really good options for single room solutions that kind of like fit the bill a little bit here. And if you had the small controller, I think they call it the Core One, that's only $100 for that one, not $250. So it makes sense to me. And then the second part of it, I think, was the bigger announcement that got blocked in with this weird change, or this change was like the assist, which has nothing to do with any of this. It has to do with remote service, man, and picking up the phone at 1 a.m.
And that's the confusion there, right? So
let me ask you, if Home Assistant offered, if Paulus got on tomorrow and said, hey, for $8.99, if you have a problem with Home Assistant, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 365 days a year, you pick up the phone, you're talking to somebody, we'll help you fix it. Would you do it?
No, because if I have a problem with Home Assistant, I'm going to be able to figure this out myself. Right?
all right.
I don't need to call anybody. Right?
If Gavin can't figure it out, nobody can figure it out.
For the listeners, for $4.99 a month, if you have a problem with Home Assistant, you can call me.
Price, Gavin!
Yeah, Gavin as a service. There we go.
Yeah, I think you're underselling yourself. You could have done this for $700. It's like, yeah, okay, Gavin, done.
Yeah,
I'll change that with 30 days notice shortly.
Yeah, I feel like they probably should have announced the assist thing first, and been like, hey, check out this cool new thing. No integrator knows how to deal with aftercare service.
Yep.
So we went ahead and we solved this problem for you. It's this price. You can sell it, however often you want. It's great. Look at all this stuff. And then like a couple days later, been like, hey, by the way, this stuff is going to increase in price. But I feel like it probably should have been more notice. I don't know. Like, for me, 60-day notice if you're planning jobs is probably sufficient, but I just feel like 60-day notice for this kind of change isn't sufficient. I don't know. I feel like if you had a really good relationship with a company like that and they were going to make a drastic change, or what a lot of people have considered a drastic change, then you need more than 60-day notice for that. And they could have easily like put a thing out last year and said, hey, next year we're going to make some changes. We'll have some, better instructions for you and whatever's going to happen. But this is kind of what's happening.
Yeah.
Because if I was a dealer, I would kind of feel short-sighted because, like I said, I just don't think it's that much notice. So that's my opinion on it, but I'm not a Control4 dealer. So
yeah, maybe that could have been worked on. I think that's what everybody kind of like latched onto. It's $100 difference between what I'm already paying or what a customer is already paying, because the dealers aren't paying for it. And then there's a completely different other thing. I think honestly, I think the Assist is probably like one of the biggest products we've seen released in this channel in the past 5 years. Like, I don't think anything comes close to that. And unfortunately got buried behind $100 increase. Like this is a substantial project for them to take on. And like you said, TJ, is like nobody knows how to take and introduce that aftercare thing. And especially if you're just like a one-man show.
Yeah, and you just don't have the manpower.
Right.
I mean, I'm a good example. I work by myself, and I answer all the emails and calls and everything else because obviously nobody else is going to do that. But if I have someone contact me at 8 o'clock at night about their TV not working, I'm not going to respond to them until the next morning.
Right.
I mean, it's just I don't have a way to ensure that I can answer those questions and charge people a monthly fee. And obviously, if you're a larger company, then you can afford to hire a call service or hire people that are on call and all that good stuff. But if you're a smaller company, you don't have that luxury. And so stuff like this is really nice, and it does help your customers out because they do get a solution right away.
Yeah. I mean, for $900, $75 a month.
That's nothing.
Nothing for these clients that are putting in these bigger Control4 systems. For the right client, like $900, yeah, it's 70. That's a service call, right? That's maybe a little bit less than a service call.
I want that service call.
Yeah. All right. They raise your lights and then TJ.
No, but I mean, yeah, that's why it's like I think that's a good deal, and I feel like if they would have let off with that, and then said that they were going to increase prices on everything else and gave a little bit of notice, nobody would have even cared.
Yeah.
It would have been a non-issue. It would have been like, hey, look out, Snap AV created this really cool product that all our competitors are already doing, because there's already companies that do this. It's just not built into the platform, and now it is.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest change, I guess, in this whole thing, or the biggest change is the mandatory reoccurring fee, I guess, that you would have.
Right. That you have to basically use to use the app.
Because I can't think of another. I mean, Josh AI, that's one. They have reoccurring fees.
Yeah.
And then I think Savant even has licensing fees now every year. So yeah, there's actually two companies that are doing it. And
yeah, no, the licensing fees make sense. It's just the way you approach it.
Yeah.
And Josh started off with them and everything.
Right.
So that made it a lot easier. It's like, hey, this is what it is, and that's what we're going to do. And I could see both sides.
And they do have a buyout too. Like they do have like you have a 5-year and a lifetime, and the lifetime is expensive, but if you don't want to pay the reoccurring, well, there's the price. So maybe that's what Control4 should come back with and say, well, here's the lifetime option. you buy this, and for the lifetime of this, yeah. It's $1 million. All
right, Snap AV, we'll handle your communications for now.
No, I don't want any part of it.
Pay me a lot of money. I'll announce your terrible decisions.
I do think that Control4 Assist really needs some more thought or just people talking about it. I did talk to Jason quite a bit about it. What OneVision offers roughly the same, not roughly. I mean, they offer a product in the same vein, right? But it's a more white label solution. It doesn't have Control4's name on it.
We all know where Snap AV got the idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and OneVision's not the only
Parasol.
Yeah, Parasol. Yeah, they pretty much own Parasol, from what I understand. So, you can still use those companies and integrate this as well. But a lot of guys out there, the shops weren't big enough to talk to a company like Parasol or OneVision, or it didn't make sense. And then, this would be like just a generic, easy thing to sell, like $75 a month. That's less than a service call. Put it on there. It's up to Control4 to make that. I mean, that's money that's going to Control4. I think there is a dealer split somewhere in there. So dealers do get some RMR coming back from it. So that's nice. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, it's up to Control4 to make that $3,000 or that $8.99 worth it to the client? They're going to have to use their marketing power and get in there. And there's a communication aspect to it where they tell the clients like what security patches they've made or something like that every month. I don't know. Like there's something that's involved with that. But if the client sees no value in it after a year, they're not going to renew it for $3,000 or $8.99. They're going to move on, and that the revenue from that stuff's going to go away. So interesting stuff. I wish it was announced differently because, man, there were some upset people.
Yeah, it was very well. I mean, it was very confusing too when you read the press release from CE Pro. Yeah. Like, I read it and I'm like, I don't even understand what's going on. I'm supposed to talk about this. How am I going to talk about this?
It took me a full 24 hours. So I was like going in. I downloaded all the stuff. I dug through it. I started to try and understand it. And I've been dealing with Control 4 since the 132 days, like over 10 years, right? Maybe 15. I don't know. It's been a while. I couldn't make heads or tails of what they were announcing. And then it took me reading all the stuff, talking to a bunch of dealers, talking to Jason Griffin before I really understood what the heck just happened here. And it's a big announcement. I just really wish for them, for their sake, that it had gone a little bit differently, because I don't think it definitely didn't go the way they thought it was going to go. Man, boy, there's some, I mean, even some of the communications from, like, I saw an email from like RTI and they have like big bold letters, no reoccurring fees on it. It's like, man.
And everybody's like, what's RTI?
Yeah, exactly. Tumbleweeds over there. Giant remotes that cost a lot more money than you think.
Oh, they're nice remotes though. I like them.
They're just big.
I haven't seen the new ones, but they are pretty big. You can beat an intruder with them.
They're as big as this old Henry
That's
bar.
what I look for. That's what I look for in my remotes. If I can beat an intruder with it, that's the one I want in my house.
All right, let's move on here. Let's talk about some fun stuff. This isn't too fun, but Ring. Ring, I guess, is walking back some things. They're no longer going to allow local police to publicly request doorbell footage through its Neighbors app, I guess. Instead, police will need to obtain a warrant for most video requests. However, they still have some carve-outs for emergencies where there's imminent danger or death. There's something could happen with serious physical injury. They'll still, like kidnapping or attempted murder, that kind of thing. So they'll still be able to kind of like pass on surveillance video from that. This is going to sunset their request for assistance tool that law enforcement agencies were using in all sorts of kind of ways, just to look through whatever they wanted to at any point in time. I think it's a pretty good idea. They walked this back. It definitely didn't get them any good PR over the past couple of years. I'm kind of wondering why it took so long for them to do that at this point.
It's a smart move for sure. You know, like, seriously, like giving like security or, you know, giving that kind of access to, you know, the police. It's a lot of access. I don't mind giving up videos to the police when needed, but I just want to know that I just want them to ask me for it.
Yeah.
Just don't go in and take it. I don't mind it. More than likely, if they come to me and they say, hey, do you have any footage from this event that happened last night in front of your house? I'd be more than happy to hand it over, you know, unless I was involved in it. But I'd hand it over and I'd say, there you go. You know, you asked for it. But if they're just going to go take it, well, you know, I don't know what else is in that footage that they took. I don't know what they're combing through, you know. I don't know if they're listening to my deals going on. That I don't like, right?
Oh, those cameras. No, those cameras haven't worked in forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're just there for looks.
Those are fake.
No, honestly, I think that's a good idea. I mean, in America, I don't think this is really even necessary anyway, because they can just go and get them, because that's how our court system works now after 9/11. And so I think this is mainly just for show anyway. So if you're in America, they're still going to get access to your footage, because that is how the internet works.
I want to say that they did have a thing where you could opt out of the Neighbors thing for a while. But
that is like the worst part of the Ring experience, in my opinion.
I don't even use it.
So I have the Ring app for my solar lights, which I don't really use now. I have the MQTT integration, and that works fine. But I have the Ring app still in case I need it. And the Neighbors app, I feel like it's like Nextdoor,
yes,
but just through your Ring app.
Did you call the police?
Yeah, I saw somebody drive by my house today. They drove by twice. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
I know they have good intentions with it, but it's just like,
I've never seen this car before. Okay, cool. I've never seen a lot of cars.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's good intentions, but people, you know, like, they just take advantage of it, or they just don't know how to use it or what to use it for. You know, it's like when people are calling 911 because a remote doesn't work, you know, like don't laugh. It's happened up here. They're releasing
we have people calling police because they didn't get their barbecue sauce with their chicken.
Exactly. You know, it's just, yeah. And wasn't Ring in hot water when they wanted to use the video footage for a TV show? Like, did that ever come out, that TV show?
Oh, I forgot about the Ring TV show. I mean, I feel like that was a good idea because, I mean, they had America's Funniest Videos and stuff.
Yeah, but I think they were just taking people's footage and making the show out of it too, right? Like, I don't think they were asking permission.
It's called Ring Nation. I don't see. It was from MGM.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it actually came out.
Yeah, I thought it was Wanda Sykes or something that was going to host it or something like that, too.
Oh, holy cow, there is.
Are they on YouTube?
Well, according to Google, there's 118 episodes.
More than 118 videos out there, I guess.
Which does not surprise me.
Yeah.
But
that's all the police footage that they've taken.
So I opened my neighbor's app and here are the posts. Gunshots? ? Kids throwing rocks from Legacy Trail. And then brown water. I don't know what that is about. I'm not going to read it. And then robbing in my neighbor car. I guess that means that somebody who had their neighbor's car was robbed. But
this person knocked on my door. Has anybody ever seen them before?
Oh, yeah. Weird visitor at night changed her mind once she realized she's being recorded. It's right here.
Yeah.
I opened up my Nextdoor app and the first post I see is, can anyone fix this old radio tape cassette player?
Oh, there you go, Gavin.
Get some helpful people up there.
Get you some side money.
I'll drop off a pencil.
Just tell them it's $4.99 a month.
It's a cassette player.
I got the gas for you. The Gavin has a service.
All right. Well, interesting. Ring. Well, we'll see. The police are probably going to get those videos anyway.
Good job, Ring. That's what everybody wanted.
Here's a blast from the past. I ran across this story over at ours, and I just laughed and laughed and laughed. OpenWRT. You know this is going. Is the open source firmware that originated from Linksys, is celebrating its 20th anniversary, and that just makes me feel old. To ensure the project continues, developers are proposing the creation of a reference hardware design that would eliminate the need for binary blobs in modern routers. The proposed design, called the OpenWRT1, includes features such as low-level firmware, an onboard real-time clock, and USB PD power. The goal is to keep the price under $100 and make schematics and code publicly available. However, OpenWRT will not be producing or selling these boards, and it's looking for banana pie makers to distribute them, with proceeds going back to the Software Freedom Conservancy. This is all pretty interesting. I have my little travel router. I think it's a Beehive, or I don't remember. I have to go look it up. It actually has OpenWRT running under the hood, and they put like a nice little skin over the top of it. But other than not even recognizing that it existed, I had forgotten that OpenWRT exists anymore. Like there it is. It's right there. They're doing stuff still. These guys are still out there with their old Linksys routers, I guess, doing their thing.
Yeah, this was awesome. I mean, growing up, we used to have a lot of old Linksys and Netgear routers and stuff like that had terrible firmware on them, or had features that you couldn't use, or whatever it was, and you put this firmware on there and literally everything opened up. I mean, you could do whatever you wanted with it. I feel like this project is announced a decade too late, though, because now we have like OpenSense and PFSense and whatever else is out there. I mean, I don't know. I think they're aiming for what, $100 roughly. I think I read somewhere. $100 isn't bad. There we go, under $100. So I mean, that's not a bad price or anything. I don't know. Is there a market for this still? Are people still hacking their routers and stuff like that?
I don't know. And it's not hacking their routers. I mean, they don't have them in there anymore. But like if you have one of these, so here it is. It is a gl.inet is what I have. If you go to
GillyNet,
gl-inet.com, you'll see one of these little routers, and these little guys are running under the hood WRT, the WRT software, WRT, OpenWRT. Mm-hmm. So they're running it. I didn't even recognize that because the interface is actually nice and doesn't look horrible, or open source. But I mean, look at these routers. These things they top out at $129, and on the low end, you're looking at a $19.90 router. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty cheap.
It's refurbished, but I mean, $30. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, $30 for a.
You're not running your house off of this thing. You know, a travel router.
No. This is just travel.
With that attitude.
You know, a one room. Yeah, I feel like everybody had this router though. This Linksys router. Did everybody have one?
I had many of them.
I just took one out a couple months ago, Gavin.
Oh, yeah.
There was a business with one still working.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's bad.
Yeah. They're indestructible.
Like that's a sign of a good router. Like nobody makes them like that anymore.
Honestly, what OpenWRT should just do is I understand they just want to make the actual hardware for it, but they should come up with a Linksys case just like this. And so that way it looks just like the same thing.
A little small one.
You don't need a big one, make it a smaller one. Partner with a company that can make the cases for them, and people would eat.
Make it look like the old one,
and I don't even need it. Yeah,
I would too.
That's a brilliant idea, TJ.
You're just full of ideas.
Have said
today.
that on the show, and then Gavin could have made the printable for it, and then we could have just made the case and started selling.
Gavin doesn't like printing projects, so
I like printing projects. It's just
he doesn't like to design anything or
whatever.
Anything.
Oh no, I don't at all. No, I hate it all. Yeah. This router is awesome though. Like, and I know was it pfSense has made changes lately that upset a number of people. So I think there's room for this. Like
pfSense isn't the same though. It's like
a little more powerful.
They're software. They're like an image, like a software image. Like this OpenWRT is I guess firmware that runs on some hardware. Yeah, you can have any hardware that's supported with, I think it's a Unix distribution. I can't remember. Like you can have whatever hardware works with that unit. You could run pfSense on a computer with just a bunch of network cards inside of it and say, oh, this is a router. And that's what a lot of people do because you can get a really powerful router doing it that way. But this is good. This is a little bit different in the fact that like they're just making a reference hardware. They're just saying, okay, this is what we're going to make for our basic router, and you can make this or you can make it better. You can have it. You can do what you're talking about. You can put it on one of those fancy giant Xeon powered Intel machines, and run OpenWRT on that if you wanted to. But they're saying that they're going to go for this low price under $100 banana pie type thing to distribute product, which I mean falls in line with what they've existed in since the 54GL went away. So there it is. Yeah. But yeah, they definitely need to color them. It needs to be like required that they're this color with the little gray back on it.
I need it. Make it a thing. OpenWRT.
Yeah. I mean, pfSense is more software. They did make some changes. They kind of split their what they build in-house and the open, and what they build in-house, they basically have been putting features in it for like remote monitoring and that kind of thing that you need for on the enterprise side of stuff. And they also have their own hardware that particular software runs on very well. So yeah, I think it's a little bit different in that case, but this seems pretty cool. I think this could have actually some pretty big effects for the project, especially if it started bringing in money. Cause if they're saying that, the proceeds from that kind of from the reference board designs and the reference routers, I guess, is going to be put back into the that Software Freedom Conservancy and earmarked for OpenWRT, which will be help for like hosting events and that kind of thing. So yeah, good for them. I hope they make some money off this, or it's open source projects. It's like get some money to pay for their time, because 20 years working on a project is absurdly long. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good for them. Good for them. That's going to wrap up our headlines, but all the topics we discussed tonight can be found over in our show notes at HomeTech.fm/467. All right. We do have something in the mailbag this week. Yeah, we have some follow-up from Jimmy there in the hub, and it's not really a message or anything, so I'm not really going to read it too much, but he suggested to me, this is kind of going back to our vacuum discussion that TJ and I were having. He started chiming in, and he's been reviewing and testing all of these vacuums on his various social channels, and I mostly watch him on TikTok. So he suggested we try the Dream L10 and L20 Ultra. So the L10S Ultra and the L20 Ultra. Again, with the confusion, if I don't put those little qualifiers on there, the L10 Ultra may be a completely different vacuum. I don't know. Weird model numbers. We kind of went back and forth and talked about everything. his final answer to me was get the Dream. Is it Dreambot? The Dreamy L10S Ultra. Yeah, has an E on the end, and it's comparable to the Roborock Q Revo. So that's the one I'm looking at. It's around $750. I think it was on sale quite a bit.
It's like $200 off right now. I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Dream software, as far as I know, uses the Xiaomi app. And the software is actually really good. Some of these can be hacked with open source firmware.
OpenWRT.
Almost. I have like the Z10 Pro, I think, something like that. And honestly, it works great. So I would get another Dream Tech robot vacuum.
$700 right now. Mm-hmm.
Do it.
And this one, I wonder if this one could be hacked with open source firmware. Let's see. Because I know you're definitely going to do that.
I am. If I could put it on a graph up here on my Home Assistant.
Oh, you can do that without hacking it, so you're good.
Oh, awesome. Done.
Oh, yeah, you can actually hack it. So this one is supported by Valitudo, which is a OpenWRT for your robot vacuum. So that's pretty cool. You can make it 100% local if you wanted to.
Huh. All right. My wife's not out here, so.
Well, when you buy her one, buy me one.
Hey, do I get extra off for putting 2 in my cart? No, I don't.
That's all right.
All right. In the pick of the week, another Amazon pick, and this one comes from TJ. I do not know where you found this thing, but it's
this is great.
It's a DavoLink Minions Kevin Wi-Fi 6E router. Elevate your connectivity experience in 2023 with high-speed performance gaming router -- secure travel Wi-Fi router. And I said Minions Kevin. That's right. This is a router that looks like a router, but no, it doesn't look like a router. It looks like a Minion. And there's 2 versions. One is a Kevin, which is the tall, skinny Minion. Like, this is the Minion, the blue and yellow Minions off of, Despicable Me. And TJ, you picked one of these up. You picked up the Bob, it looks like, which is the $68, $69 router. It's a little squatty one. I don't think that one has 6E, does it?
No, this one is Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's pretty good. I obviously didn't really use it for much because I have a really nice ubiquity system. But I hooked it up. I sat on the couch and I was getting 300 megabits per second symmetrical off of it with my iPhone.
Look at Bob.
So, I mean, that's pretty good. I don't know why we haven't seen more of these, honestly. Like, just in general, like branded Wi-Fi routers. What I can think of is the little Funko collectibles, the little action figure things that people buy in the boxes. They should just come up with Wi-Fi routers based off of Funkos now. And so you just have like a Batman Wi-Fi router and, Superwoman and whatever other ones they have. But this thing is great. I mean, $70 for the Wi-Fi 6 version, $130 for the Wi-Fi 6E version. I think the best thing is, after the actual design, obviously, is that the website that you actually access all the settings from is also Minion.
No designed. Way. Oh,
so it's got little minions on it and like little things. It's great.
I did enjoy and point out, and we talked about this before the show, that they included an Ethernet cable that's yellow and blue in the box.
Yeah, that's a good touch.
Yeah, nice touch.
Yeah, honestly, the only reason I bought this, minus the fact that I liked it as soon as I saw it, is I just assumed it was like a fake product, right? Like, you see those the Facebook and eBay products and stuff that pop up, and they're just completely fake, and then you order them and you never get them. I just assumed that was going to happen with this, and it showed up. So I feel like I should keep it just in case like it disappears and this company gets like sued into oblivion or something. But
no, it's licensed.
I'm probably going to return it.
Illumination license. It's got I thought it was funny that you can mesh them together. So
you can create a whole mesh network.
You need a bunch of minions to make the mesh network.
Yeah, it was funny. The comments I kept seeing was like, I couldn't plug these in near my kids because they would unplug them and run away with them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you do any performance tests yet, or
I did a speed test. I was doing 300 megabits per second. So I mean, that's pretty good.
Did they do VLANs?
Which is what my package is. It does not do VLANs. It's funny. I actually posted this on Reddit, and a lot of people kept asking me like, "Oh, does it do VLANs and does it do all these advanced settings?" I'm like, guys, it's a $70 router. It's shaped like Minions. It does not do anything.
Maybe we could run OpenWRT on it.
And maybe. And so that's what I was thinking. OpenWRT needs to come out with some 3D printing cases like this.
So it's always with the packaging for you.
Yeah.
What's the, I'm looking at the back of Bob and Kevin right now. What's the LED switch turn on and off? Because now I'm curious as to what LED lights are on the front.
So honestly, that is kind of the most disappointing thing, right? Because you're kind of hoping that the lights, the eyes,
yes,
or something. But it's like if you look very closely, like at the chest, there's like a symbol. I'm not too familiar with Minions, so I'm sure somebody's like listening to this and they're like, oh, that's the
Gru symbol. Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but that lights up. That's the only thing.
So like if you had this, in the bedroom or something, as you would want to do, you could turn that off.
Right? I was really hoping it would be the lights or the eyes, because
it would be awesome if one flash for like incoming and one flash for outgoing, like backing off.
Oh man. Oh yeah. It'd be so creepy.
That's the kind of thing that WRT would do.
Yeah. We need it.
Amazing. Well, this person posted a picture of the QR code. I'm gonna.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool too. It comes with a little QR code. That's how you log into the website and stuff. So that's pretty convenient.
Well, it got great reviews. 81%, 4.7 out of 5 on Amazon, and it sounds like you love it. So
yeah, I don't know how you couldn't like it. I mean, it's just one of those things that like it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it looks like a Minion. I mean, if you bought it because it looks like a Minion and it functions, I feel like you should like it.
Gavin, I think you need to replace your Ubiquity system with Kevin.
I need them all around the house, a couple Kevins, couple Bobs.
Yeah. Get rid of that Ubiquity system. Hang these from the ceiling. Could you imagine walking to somebody's house and they just have this like sitting on the ceiling? You'd be like, okay.
And we're laughing now, but like in 2 weeks on Reddit, somebody will post that. Like,
I dare you to recommend it to one of your clients and do an install.
Oh, 100% going to.
Oh, if anybody does this, please reach out to us. Please let us know. It's amazing. Well, if you have any feedback, questions, comments, pics of Minions, routers, and that kind of thing, send them on over. Email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right, project updates. I got nothing. I've been doing data migration still. Other than like working on a car a little bit this weekend to try and get a starter that doesn't work to work. I got nothing. So, and buying O. Henry's. So as I eat my chocolate O. Henry's, Gavin, what have you been up to?
I'm glad you're enjoying your O. Henry's as you break one open right now, I saw an announcement this week for something called Zigbee Home. The Zigbee Home project was announced. And this you can think of as equivalent to ESP Home, but for Zigbee. First of all, it's very early in the project, so don't expect much from it at this point, but it's something to keep an eye on. I think a number of people are actually excited about this because when I, what do you call it, tooted it on Mastodon, it got retweeted and liked and, like one of my most favorited posts. And I didn't realize, so many Zigbee lovers are out there, but,
Zigbee is huge on Mastodon.
Yeah, it's getting tooted all over the place. So, one thing I like about this is it's basically like a project that will let you, create your own Zigbee devices in a way. It works with a limited number of boards right now, but it's going to expand. Just keep an eye on it. The one thing I like about it is one of the downfalls of ESP Home is, when it comes to battery powered devices, right? Like the Wi-Fi ESP Home, it drains a lot of battery, right? So, if you wanted something battery powered, it's not going to happen. But with the Zigbee stuff now, it may open up that whole, battery side of things. You can make a battery powered device to do whatever you want. Your own soil sensor, for example, that lays flat so you can run over it with the lawnmower and not worry about stepping on it and stuff like that. Maybe that may become a reality, a do-it-yourself version. So just something I saw on the interwebs, sharing with the world.
I'm on number 2. That's delicious.
Yeah, you got your mouth full of O. Henry's right now.
There's like a little squirrel over there.
You continue with your O. Henry binge right now, and I'll go into the next thing I actually saw out there too. When I was installing my RAT GDO this week, one of the things you got to worry about is you need a power outlet right by the garage door opener, like a free one actually, right? So I actually saw somebody mention that like a lot of new openers actually have a battery backup built in. So somebody mentioned, and I've never, after one of our listeners wrote in and talked about buck converters, they've just been showing up all over the place for me.
The buck converter, Amazon listen or Alexa listen to you.
Exactly.
She's like, oh, get these buck converters in this front of this guy.
I saw this buck converter that will, allow you to connect your RAT GDO to your battery, so it's battery powered as well, and it's also powered when it's plugged when you do have power, right? So you don't have to fight to get that extra outlet right by your garage opener. So I thought that was kind of cool, because I saw some people actually complaining due to the lack of a power outlet by there. So if you do have a newer garage door opener with a battery, check out a buck converter. A kind of cool idea.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like
makes sense. Like the battery's there that makes sense. Just tap right into it. It's not going to drain the battery.
Very little energy anyway. I mean, when you have power, the battery's hooked up to power anyway, so it's pretty much drawing from the main power anyway, right? So no, really cool. Keeps things a little cleaner too. Less wires run. So, and then on top of that, so I did install my RAT GDOs. I'm still holding out judgment right now. The honeymoon was quick. I tell you, the honeymoon was quick. The first day, I got installed. Everything was working great. I was like, awesome, and then I went out there and tried to open and close the garage, and it stopped working. And I was like, what? It was getting signals that it knew the garage was open and closed, but it just wouldn't open or close the garage. So I don't know what happened. I ended up disconnecting everything, checking all the wires. I actually replaced the flimsy wire that comes with it with something a little more solid, cleaned up the wiring a bit, put it all back together, and it was working. So I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe I did something. Well, then on the weekend, same thing happened again. So I'm kind of like it's getting the signal and everything, but then it just stops responding. Like I can't control the door. Don't know why. It's been solid since, but I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm going to reserve judgment on this for a little bit longer, because
not a recommendation yet.
Not a recommendation yet. I mean,
sounds like it's just as reliable as my Q was.
It's almost like I feel lucky if it works right now. Like I randomly sometimes just go out there and hit the button, just to see if it opens and closes, right? But if you have an older garage, like one of my garage door openers, I have a newer one and I have an older one. And the older one, it actually wouldn't read any of the signals off of it, right? And I found out it has to, basically I needed a new keypad for it, right? And the keypad would actually, from what I understand, would send out a request.
They had an update or something like that, didn't they? They had there was a Security 2.0 Plus and a Security 1.0 Plus.
And I got the 1.0.
And they just updated for 1.0 Plus. I just saw that hit the other day.
I haven't seen that, but from my understanding, and if they fixed it, damn it, why didn't you fix it before I ordered a new keypad? But
you got to spend money first.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
I got a keypad in and out, works properly. It gets all the, status and everything, and if you have two keypads, you can only use one keypad at a time. Just a heads up, because it draws too much power. It can't power them all. So again, I'm still reserving judgment on this RAT GDO right now. It
sounds way more complex than a Security 2.0 button and a relay.
Yeah, pretty much my Zeus relay was solid. It worked. I just thought I like the fact that this, used less devices to get like the status of the door.
You can hook them both up.
Right? You can, but I'm the guy, I want one or the other. And I kind of like this one because it was more compact. It gave you the status of the door without needing a tilt sensor, less, customization and stuff like that. But yeah, if this isn't as reliable as I think, I'm going back to my old ways, and just using the Zeus relay and the tilt sensor, because that's been working great for me too. But you use whatever works for you. I just like to torture myself sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not like the ESP chips are super solid, reliable. I mean, it's open source firmware. They could be bugs and stuff they're working on too.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And it was minus 17 in my garage. So I was like, do these things work in these cold temperatures? Sometimes I wonder about that.
Version 2.5 adds support for Security Plus 1.0 openers as well as standard dry contact openers. So
yeah, I have that. I know I installed that firmware. I don't think there were any bug updates to it since, though. I kept an eye on it.
Oh, maybe this is what you're talking about. Security Plus 1.0 requires an 88LM.
Yes.
Or some kind of wall control panel. And if you don't have that, you have an emulation mode, but it will interfere with your wall controls function.
Yeah. And the 888LM panel, actually, I couldn't find that anywhere, but there's an 889LM. Which
889. Sorry, it's 889.
Or yeah, there's a newer one that replaces that and works. So I got that one and it works, but I'm still referring, I'm still holding back on my judgment. I'll give it a few more weeks and report back in, right?
Well, hopefully they work out whatever bugs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is that it? You said you're prepping for your new your drive array.
Oh, my drive array finally arrived. So I got a 4-bay NetStore, 1U rack mount drive array, for my Unraid server. That came in like last week. So I've been doing a whole bunch of data migration to free up disks because I'm trying to consolidate all my disks in my, Unraid server down to like the 4 just for this. And actually that was not that hard. I just deleted a whole bunch of the wife stuff and she'll never notice. And when she does, it will be, a long time. But yeah, it'll be like, oh man, drive
the hard drive went bad, honey. Sorry.
You didn't back it up? What? So no, but, it's looks nice. It fits in 1U and it's a SAS. My SAS card actually just came in today. So I haven't hooked it up yet because everybody's been, watching my MB, watching movies and stuff off of it. So I can't power it down without somebody complaining. So gotta wait to find some time, put in my change tickets and do what I have to do that. But, it's really cool. Just if you ever have if you're thinking of setting up an Unraid server, just go with big disks from right off the bat. I said disks right off the bat. Right?
It's not what I heard.
Yeah.
But yeah, the go with the old school, the spinny disk, the 2.5-inch drives, not the SSD smaller.
Well, just go with 8 terabytes. Go, try to reduce the number of disks you have. Just because, it's easier to have 3 8 terabytes and then you got 16 terabytes plus parity drive. If you're going to set it up, at least make your parity drive, get a big one just for your parity drive and future proof yourself, because then you can upgrade the other ones to bigger ones, because your parity drive always has to be the biggest drive, equal to the biggest drive in the whole array, right? So you might as well just get the 8 terabyte for your parity drive, even if you're just putting in 3, 4, just to prepare yourself for the day you might want to upgrade the other drives. Because if you put all 4s and then you want to upgrade to 8, you're gonna have to replace the parity drive with an 8 parity first, and then you're gonna have to replace each one. Lots of work, lots of data transferring, and yeah. But I'm almost there. Next week I'll have more of an update on that one. Hopefully.
I have one. One of the Synologies I have. Every now and then it'll say the Drive 7 had a problem, and I'll go look at it, and Drive 7's fine and smart. Every now and then it comes up and says Drive 7's having a problem.
Smart stuff, right?
I think it's time for Drive 7 to go away. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna get I'm not even gonna. I don't even use that much of this stuff, but why risk it?
It also depends on what the error is, because sometimes the error comes down to a bad cable.
I think it's some bad clusters or something that it couldn't read on a whole drive. I mean, it's like a 4 terabyte drive or 6 terabyte.
It's just easier just to replace the drive and,
easier. Yeah. I'm not going to look for bad cable. It's not bad cable in that. It's directly wired to the board, but, I'm not going to troubleshoot it.
Yeah.
It's just the data drives are so cheap these days.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to worry about it. I'll have to do that project. And I guess I did buy some UPS devices for real cheap.
Oh, yeah.
I got some.
Oh, yeah. You bought a dozen of them or something.
No, I didn't buy a dozen. I did.
You can power up the neighborhood with that.
My car has a weight limit. I can. I got some old not old. There's some APC, like the commercial UPSs. They're one of them's kind of beat up and banged up, and they're missing the front covers. But I did turn them on, and then they are in decent working order. So they turn on, and they're not like the consumer versions that I have, like the cyber powers that are around here. They're actually real UPSs. I think it's a 1500. They're 1500s. I think they can run for a decent amount of time, and they have the network interface and everything on them. So I'll probably go around, and I've been meaning to do this anyway, is go around and work on my power, because right now I have one UPS that's completely down in the other room because of old batteries. And then I've got these here, but I need to kind of distribute things a little bit better, where my Synologies and that kind of thing can stay on and gracefully shut down without causing a bunch of mess. If those things get powered on and off. So I guess that'll be a project one of these days when I get back to it. Meanwhile, I have 1,500 pounds worth of, I don't know, There's 3 of them, and they're very heavy. They're probably in the 80-pound range. They are not.
Are those ones with 4 batteries, or you have more?
I don't know. I haven't taken out the cartridge yet. They probably have 4 in them. They're very heavy. They're
so expensive. You're gonna have to spend like $100 on batteries.
Yeah.
At least.
I think I looked it up. These were like $1,500 UPSs in their day, and I found them for like $30. So it was a no-brainer. And if considering, I was like, well, I'll just buy like 4 of them or whatever. And I got there and I'm like, these are really heavy. I'm just going to get 3 because I don't think I'm going to make it back in this piece of junk car that I have. So I'll just buy 3. Thanks, guy.
Yeah, that's how I've gotten all my UPSs. It's been like old ones from clients where like the batteries go bad or whatever, and it just makes more sense to buy a new one so that way you get a nice warranty on it and everything. And you take the old one, you throw $100 in batteries into it, and you got a great UPS.
I think that's how most of mine came in as well. But I've swapped the batteries over the years on the CyberPowers, but they're the thin batteries.
Oh yeah,
and I don't think they work as well as the bigger ones.
I try to only buy the ones that do the 12-volt 7-amp batteries.
Yeah.
Because then you could buy those anywhere. They're a pretty universal battery. Those are fine. The ones that like the proprietary batteries from CyberPower or APC and that kind of stuff, I try to avoid those. But if you're going with the smaller one, it's hard to.
Well, they're only proprietary up to a point.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean, though. They just like they come as like a package, so you just like order the whole new package.
They come as a package, but if you take a knife and cut open the package, right, then there's just batteries inside of there.
Yeah,
but yeah, these look dangerous. They have like big, giant yellow clips on them and everything. So yeah. Anyway, TJ, what have you been up to?
Oh, man, I got all kinds of projects. So I started my transition, and I guess I finished it. I don't know. From Zigbee, the native Zigbee integration in Home Assistant ZHA to Zigbee to MQTT. I honestly don't really know why I did this other than getting my Zigbee sprinkler things into Home Assistant. It works fine. I haven't had any issues, and it does kind of give you more controls over things. I'm sure Gavin can better explain why you would want to do this, but like I said, literally it just
it gives you more controls over things.
Yeah, there's like more integrations too, like more supported devices too, right? So like the hose sprinkler things I have are a good example where the hose sprinklers they're like $40 or $50 on Amazon. They come with their own proprietary hub that you have to use like the Smart Life app or whatever it is. But there's not like a native way to get it into quote unquote native way to get it into Home Assistant. And so Zigbee MQTT basically just it kind of is like a universal Zigbee. So anything Zigbee, it can be found through that.
It's an independent project in a way. And this is sometimes I prefer independent projects to integrated projects because the independent project gets more love, right? Because it's used in more systems than just Home Assistant, right? So I found Zigbee to MQTT has so many, and practically everything works with it, right? And they even added a feature recently where even if it doesn't have a built-in support, it will scan the device and, add the basic support based on what it can tell, so any device will pretty much work for it. And that's a cool feature. So, it's best to do it from now, or if you're setting up a new system, Zigbee to MQTT.
Yeah, I only have like 15 or 20 Zigbee devices. So I think I just reset everything. I didn't really have much going on. There was a way to like back up and restore, and I tried that, but I didn't really have luck. So I just reset everything up. It wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, I mean, it works fine, and I'm looking forward to adding some more stuff with that. So.
Nice.
That was a fun little project. The next project. So, previous shows, we've talked about buying Govee space heaters and all the fun stuff that Govee has. You can't easily integrate Govee space heaters and the other supplies like the air purifier and the fan and stuff into Home Assistant. There are ways to do it. If you've heard me talk before, you know that I'm not going to get dirty in code, and that's what that requires. So I can't control the Govee space heater from Home Assistant, but that's not that big a deal because I don't use it all the time. And if I do, I just set up on a schedule or I tell Google to turn it on. But I wanted a way to automate turning off the space heater when I left. And so, in case, I run out of the house, I got to go to Menards or something and pick up some supplies. I have the space heater on. I want a way to turn it off. And I can't use Bond for it because it didn't come with a remote. And Bond doesn't have built-in commands or anything like that. And so I didn't really have a good way to do it other than a smart outlet. And so I wanted to get a smart outlet. And luckily, we have a friend named Adam Justice who makes, or made, I don't think he makes it anymore, a 20 amp outlet that you can individually control both outlets. And so it integrates with HomeKit, so you can, integrate it with HomeKit and then bring in a Home Assistant that way. And now I have a way to at least manually turn off the space heater whenever I leave. So that's kind of nice. And 20 amp is very rare for a built-in smart outlet. So I don't personally know of any other ones. I know that there's external ones, but an actual built-in outlet, I don't know of any.
That's the one I always think of for the 20 amp outlet. So.
Yeah, works great. He sent me 2. We did a little tradesy, so I got 2 of those, and I'll put this other one somewhere at some point. With the Zigbee to MQTT migration, I've started noticing that my lights in the kitchen have started to kind of fail, which is obviously not good after only being here for 7 months. And so one of them, shortly, I think it was 3 months after installation or something, it just stopped working altogether. So I swapped it out. Now I have one that's they're manually selectable white colored, you can change, the color temperature. I have one that's just randomly reverting back to 2700K.
Oh, that's weird.
Instead of 4000K that it's set to or whatever it is. And then it'll randomly convert back and do that. And then I have another one that's just randomly turning off. They're all I have 3 of them wired together, and one of them just randomly turning off. And so after dealing with these problems, I'm I need to get better ones. And so now I'm looking at installing smaller can lights. And so we're going to do 6-inch can lights. I wanted to be able to control the white color temperature of the lights. And the cheapest option for that, surprisingly enough, is Philips Hue recessed lights. They're about $50 a pop. If you buy a 4-pack, they're $200. But you can choose the color you want for them, and you can choose the white color for them.
Have you looked at the Wiz line?
Well, I thought I haven't.
It's the same company.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it the same company?
Same company, but it's a Wi-Fi product, not a Zigbee product.
Yeah, I want Zigbee.
Okay, then Philips Hue.
Because then I can use it with my Innovelli switches, and they have the smart bulb mode, or smart bulb mode, and they'll just talk directly to it. So that was kind of the thought process. I'm in the process of laying them out. I kind of have to work around the giant holes that are in the ceiling already, and so it might not be the most optimal layout, but it's going to be a lot better than what it is. So I'm excited for that. And then this past weekend, we've been talking about robot vacuums and mops and all that kind of stuff. I was on Facebook Marketplace. And Ecovacs D-Bot Omni X2 popped up. And this is a $1,500 robot vacuum. It was on Facebook for $100.
$100? Hold on.
I was like, no way, this is going to be a scam. I'm going to get shot or something. Looking at the pictures, I could tell that it wasn't the X2. It's got a completely different shape on the actual robot vacuum. But I was looking it up and I was like, well, $100 is still a really good deal. And so I went and picked it up. It was kind of gross. You could tell they didn't really clean it that often. So I gave it a good scrubbing. I replaced all the brushes on it. The vacuum itself, everything works. It was $100. And then I spent $60 on a new main brush and bags and side bristles and whatever else. And it works fine. I mean, we haven't had any problems with it. I kind of find it creepy though. It's got a built-in camera on it that you can use the app to look in while you're gone. And I don't know, guys, that kind of makes me feel weird. All the interior cameras we have, they turn off with smart outlets. And I thought about doing this, but obviously the vacuum has a battery built into it. So you can't just turn it off. So I think I'm going to end up selling it.
In this one, you don't think you can put a sticker over it?
I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm gonna have to look at that because I don't think so. I feel like it probably uses the camera for actual navigation, but maybe it doesn't.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does, and it doesn't matter. Maybe just try that.
Yeah, I probably will. But for $160, pretty nice. I figured if I don't like it, I'll end up selling it for $400 or something. So I'll make some money on it.
Nice.
But it works fine. I like the interface for the DreamTech because it uses the Xiaomi app. I like the interface much better. And you can't easily bring EcoVacs into Home Assistant either. Xiaomi, you can. And so that kind of stinks as well. So it's good. You know, it was $100. It's a $1,500 vacuum originally, guys. I can't imagine paying that much.
Wonder why they got rid of it. Did you ask?
You know, I didn't, Seth. I have a good idea, but I'm not going to get into that.
Just the camera.
Well, it might be. Oh, so I forgot to mention actually. So this is kind of creepy, and this is my first reason for wanting to get rid of it. So I set it up. I've never had an EcoVacs account, so I created an account, and I get it added. I add the robot vacuum, and I go to map management. And guys, I can see the map layout for the old house.
Oh boy.
That
it's stored on the board. Yep.
That should not be possible if I'm going to set up a robot vacuum with a brand new account. Like, I feel like there should be some kind of check that's like, hey, this is a different account. Maybe we shouldn't have this information accessible.
Maybe not.
So, like, that was kind of the weird thing for me, and especially paired with the camera. I'm like, I don't know. Do I trust this company to look around my house?
And when I sell my tech, that's why I make it a rule. I do factory resets and stuff like that to get rid of, anything that may be stored. That should be a standard.
I thought I did too when I picked it up, because I had to press a button or something to like add it to the system. So I just thought that was part of it, but it obviously was not. So that was a little creepy. That's all the projects right now. Still working on the closet and the bedroom, hoping to get that done. Working on crown molding ideas. So all kinds of lighting projects going on.
Yeah, sounds fun. You guys are really busier than I am, so hopefully I can get past this data migration stuff at work. It's not fun.
Oh man, that sounds awful.
I've been living in a spreadsheet. Actually, I had to give training today, so I had spreadsheet training, make a presentation, and then hope it worked, and the demo, and then back to spreadsheet this afternoon. Not fun.
No,
especially when I don't want to use a spreadsheet. I want to use like a program to program what I have to do in the spreadsheet, but the spreadsheet data is not right, so I have to go fix it.
Just tell Chad to do it.
I would, but Chad lies a lot, and I can't have him lie on things like inventory. So Chad seems to daydream a little bit. So anyway, I think that's going to wrap up this week. We do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show, but every single pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather in there and look at TJ's minions. Look at his little minion router. There was some decent conversation. You could have totally seen the recommendations on the robot. And as a bonus feature, last week we posted some HomeTech After Dark. And maybe you want to know what Gavin's printing on a 3D printer. Maybe you don't want to know what Gavin's printing on a 3D, but we put it there, and everybody in there now knows. So you don't know, but anybody in the hub knows. It was quite funny. Anyway, if you want to help the show but can't support financially, totally understand. We just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up the news here on HomeTech this week. Everybody have a great weekend. We will see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.
So did you print those things on your printer, and are they installed on his car?
Yeah, he hasn't noticed yet. His sister knows, his dad knows. I don't know if they told the mom, but he doesn't know. And it was so easy too, because he was already missing. so I was like, I don't even need to take an old one off and keep it somewhere. I just put this one on, and it's black. It blends in,
When he goes to get his tires fixed or whatever, they'll be like,
oh, that would be even funnier if he takes it to a mechanic and they're like, yeah, sir, and we put your custom valve caps back on for you.